Grad school is supposed to be this full-time job, but baby, I did not get the memo, okay?
I'll be a comma if you don't wanna face it. Try to two-time me and I promise that you'll hate me.
What's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome.
Hey, how are you guys?
But if you ain't, welcome back. So today, I am back with another video. That sounds bad, but I'm gonna do it every single time, okay? So today I'm gonna be talking about 5 things that I wish I knew before I went to grad school. So first of all, I graduated from East Carolina University in spring 2020, and I started grad school there in August of 2021. So I started grad school in August 2020. So I went ahead, graduated, and jumped straight into grad school, not really knowing what I was getting myself into. And it was a lot that I got myself into. So I really just want to go over some things that I wish that I knew before I started this process, because to be real with you, I definitely did not do any research on any schools. This was literally the only place that I applied to. And honestly, when I started college, I had a whole entire different career plan. So grad school was really never in the cards. I was thinking more so that I'd be a doctor, but this was coming from somebody who has a very weak stomach, is very sensitive. So it's just a lot. I just think that I wanted to do it because it would make me a lot of money, and I don't know if I really necessarily enjoyed that. So I'm glad that I found my path through undergrad, and you know, it's carried over into my graduate school. The first thing that I wish I knew was that I'm not gonna know everything, and I'm not really expected to know everything. Like, I am expected to know some things, but at the same time, everyone in grad school is smart. Like, that's why they were chosen in this school. So you feel me? You're not the only one. Understand that we're all struggling, you know, like, yes, I'm smart, yes, you're smart, but we both on the same page of we don't know what the heck is going on in this class. And that's just how it's gonna be. You grow through this process, you learn a lot through this process, so I embrace it if this is what you wanna do. So tip number 1 is know that you're not gonna know everything, and that's okay. Tip number 2, you will never have free time again. Like, grad school is supposed to be this full-time job, but baby, I did not get the memo, okay? Didn't get the memo for that, because I was going to school that's about 3.5 hours away from my home. So, you know, I want to see my family, and I could do that whenever I wanted to in undergrad. But graduate school, no ma'am.
Sit your ass back.
Okay. And I'm still adjusting to that, even still, because I'm currently filming this from my house, okay? But it's hard, and you have to make time for what you want. I don't have to say that now. You will have to treat it like a full-time job, and I won't say that you won't get paid, but I necessarily did not get paid for the one that I am, and that's just because of the lab that I am in. However, I do have a TA-ship, which just means that I'm a teacher's assistant, and I TA or teach a lab. So my first lab was gonna be Bio 1. The second time I did Bio 2, and then quickly switched into teaching anatomy and physiology labs in my spring semester of my first year. So in my spring 2021, I was teaching anatomy. That was rough. Like, it was very rough to adjust to, because number 1, I'm not really like a public speaker for real, but through that TA-ship, I definitely learned to be a public speaker, and I embraced the challenge. And my kids and students ended up loving me. It was great for me because I started off via WebEx. So I think that transition period definitely helped me, going from online to face-to-face. I was kind of a little bit more comfortable with speaking to students and having to help them with things that I wasn't super well versed in myself. Like, it's a lot of stuff that I've taken throughout my time being at ECU, but it's some stuff that I took at community college that we learned a little differently, okay? And I was still able to get those points and ideas across to them, so I feel accomplished for that. So tip number 2, you won't have free time, but that's okay. Tip number 3 is to embrace the change. What I mean by that is, like, I had to kind of adjust myself to the people that I was around, and not really adjust in a bad way or like a super obvious way, but I just had to kind of get used to being around different people. And the more I got into it and immersed myself in them, it became a lot better. And I feel like those are some of my closest and coolest friends because we can talk about biology together. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I love. So embrace that. Like, know that your teachers and people that you meet along the way can be connections if you make that effort. So you have to make strides to make new connections with your teachers, friends, peers, advisors, etc. because they can take you far. Like, you never know who you're going to need down the road. And I'm not saying to create the connections and friendship just based off your neediness down the road. It's to make genuine friendship. And through that, they will just automatically plug you into whatever they're plugged into. And it's just kind of how it works. And I actually love meeting different people than myself. Like, that's kind of my thing. That's why I came to ECU in the first place instead of choosing a different place, because I kind of want to get out of my comfort zone. And it's really helped me become a different person. Like, I can talk about different things with different people and know how to adjust myself for my audience. So I've learned a lot. So tip number 1, everybody is smart, but we're also struggling. Tip number 2, you will not have any more free time, but it's okay. Tip number 3, embrace the change. Tip number 4, know what you want to do. So when I say that, that means, like, if you're biology like me, come in knowing what area you really want to study. Like, yes, biology is a broad subject, but do you want to do cellular biology, molecular, genetics, like environmental? What part of biology do you really want to study? Look on that school's website, get in touch with those faculty, and grow those connections. Just get to know them a little bit. I will also encourage you to research different members of that specific lab or those labs that you are thinking about attending, because that would definitely help you get an idea about what your course load will be, what your workload will be, kind of, you know, how do you expect to spend your time? Will you have free time? Like, I just don't have free time in my lab, and that's just my lab. I'm not going to say that in your lab you won't have free time, okay? So understand me when I say that, okay? But just reach out to people and figure out kind of what should I expect when I come to ECU? You know what I'm saying? Like, ask questions that are relevant to really what you want to know. So my first thing would be to ask, what is my course load? Like, am I going to have a lot of work to do on top of research? Am I going to have a lot of research work to do? Am I going to have to TA and handle all these X amount of responsibilities? Like, what am I really going to have to do? And what can I look forward to? That's where you can get a real good idea, because I had no idea what I was jumping into when I got into this. I'm not going to say anymore, but I didn't have an idea, okay? And I would like for you guys to have an idea. So know what track that you want to do, you know, and that means if you are going to go into academia, and this is kind of like tip number 5 as well, if you're going to go into academia, do the thesis route, because that's research based, that's going to be publication, that's going to be more so tailored into continuing on if you want to do that. But if you're going to go into pharmaceuticals or like some kind of lab or industry job, you might want to just do non-thesis. And I'm only saying that because you can still get that lab experience, pipetting skills, etc. with the thesis track and with the non-thesis. But the non-thesis is more so knowledge-based and really understanding biology on a more, let's see, how do I want to say this? Through course. So if you want research-based, research and experience-based, do thesis track. If you want coursework, knowledge base, take non-thesis. Tip number 5 is know your professors before you get into it. So like, meet your PI, like figure out the lab members there, kind of understand the morale of who they are and how they treat their lab members. And that'll let you know whether or not you should choose to be in their lab. Because if you did no research and you just know like, oh, they're renowned for cancer research and they're just great, but they treat their lab members like poop, and they don't pay them, or they get no compensation for all the work that they do outside of a degree. Like, nobody's saying that a degree isn't the holy grail or the reason that you came.
Who said that? Who said that? Who said that?
But you know, we're all college students and we still need a place to stay. We still need gas. We still need food. We still need these kinds of things. So it's like, it's hard for me to give you all of my time from 9 to 5 if you're not even paying me for that time. Like, it's totally fine. I understand that. But if I'm getting paid for something else, then of course my attention and my things go to that something else. Okay, so know that. So tip number 1 is going to be everybody's smart, but we all struggling. Tip number 2, no more free time. Okay, you have to make the time commitment. And it gets easier along the way. Tip number 3, embrace the change and connections. Tip number 4, know what you want to do before you get there. And tip number 5, bruh, what? Oh my, Siri. Jesus, this is so annoying. Like, today has been rough getting this video out to y'all. Like, I promise you, but I persevered. God has gotten me through this day. All right, so let's get that clear before I finish. Jeez. Tip number 5, research, research, research. I know you're going to be doing plenty of that when you get to school, but research before as well. Okay, and bonus tip. You got this. I'm rooting for you. God did not bring you this far. If you believe in him, he didn't bring you this far just to leave you. So even when times get rough, and I know they will get rough, know that you have peers. Know that you have a mentor. Know that you have somebody, aka me, rooting for you. And I'm in your corner. Like, I got you, okay? I don't know you, but I got you, and you got this. I'm praying for each and every one of my upcoming graduate students, whether you choose to follow biology like your girl or do something different, but I'm rooting for you, okay? Like, comment, subscribe, all right? First of all, let me know what kind of things you want to hear from me. If you're a biology major, let me know what you want to hear about. If you're an ECU student, let me know what you want to hear about. Like, I can do how undergrad was for me as a bio major or as an early college student. I can do that. I can talk about the transition from undergrad to graduate biology studies and how they're different. I can talk about, graduating during COVID and quickly jumping into graduate school. I can talk about all of that, but I just need to know what y'all want to see, okay? So let me know, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!
I learned from my past, need to treat me right, give me better days.